Probably the only drug I wouldn't do now, if I had to redo my life again, would be the I created Species Nutrition with one mission in mind: to provide bodybuilders and serious athletes with no-nonsense supplements that work. I put my name and reputation on every bottle of Species Nutrition products. If you want to be your absolute best, join the evolution.
Dave, when you were coming up, was your goal just getting big, or did you strategize body parts? For example, I have good arms and calf genetics, so I train them less. Back is lagging, so I focus on the lagging body parts more. Your thoughts? So did you take differences in body part genetics for growth, or did you just eat, lift, and go for size?
Yeah, I knew that I needed to put general size on my entire body because I have very long limbs. I have long arms and long legs, and that takes a long time to fill out, as opposed to people who have shorter limbs. So I knew I needed to put size on all over. So there was not a single body part that I slacked on. Matter of fact, at one point, someone's like, well, you have really good legs. You don't need to train them as hard. I'm like, I don't even know what that means. I said, why would I not train a body part as hard as I train the other body parts? First of all, leg training builds mass on the entire body, because think about what you're doing when you're squatting. You're holding an enormous amount of weight on your back. That requires the back stabilization. It requires, core strength. So I don't believe in deprioritizing body parts. You might want to prioritize a body part, like, hey, I want my back bigger. I'm going to really make sure I eat enough on the day before back, and I'm fueled up. Maybe I'll take a day off before I do back. That's fine. But you don't want to slack on other body parts because you think they're too good. I've never seen anyone who has a body part that's that good that they can just skip doing it, aside from a couple of super freaks at the pro level. So for most people, train every body part hard. The key is to give yourself enough rest days to recover and rebuild your physique. So, if you're doing a 5-day split over 7 days, it's 2 days off per week, 5 days of training. If, you start feeling a little fatigued, you might want to take an extra day off here or there to let your body recover, because the recovery is the most important aspect of building your body. Remember, you're only growing on the days that you're recovering. If you're constantly breaking down muscle, you're never growing because you're always in a state of breakdown. So you have to let the body, heal up in a sense. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. They think, well, I want to prioritize my back. My back's not as good. I'll train it 3 times a week. Well, guess what? You're breaking it down even more now. It's never going to grow and recover. So you have to be smart about how you train.
Knowing what you know now as an older bodybuilder, is there any gear you would not take now? Example, TRT, Winsol, Decamastron, any circumstance, any condition?
I really tried very hard to take Anadrol during my career, and I probably lasted a week or two on, at the most. And I just couldn't eat on this stuff. I probably wouldn't even try to take it anymore at this point. I just don't think there's so many great injectables out there that I don't understand why anyone even uses orals. Sometimes we use a little bit of Dianabol because it kind of kicks butt, but it doesn't really blunt appetite too much. Obviously, in women, we can use Anavar and Winstrol tabs because they're not really toxic anyway. And women do better on orals because it's not in their system 24 hours a day. They get less side effects from the orals. But I'm talking about as far as men go, I would probably stay away from like the heavy orals that are very toxic. Now, halotestin is toxic, but we only use that the last 2 weeks before a competition, so I probably wouldn't stay away from that. Probably the only drug I wouldn't do now, if I had to redo my life again, would be the Anadrol. I don't think it's a viable bodybuilding drug, for me at least not, because my body just rejected it. It didn't like it. I couldn't eat on it. I felt like crap on it. And anything that makes you feel that bad can't be good for you. So that's that would be my one drug I'd stay away from.
Is it important to occasionally test your 1 rep max?
You know, I don't think it's important necessarily to grow doing that, but I'll tell you what it is, what it does do. I'll give you an example with bench. Okay, let's say your best bench is 315. Okay, maybe you could do 1 or 2 reps with 315, and you want to get up to a higher amount. You want to be able to do 6 reps with 315. Well, you're going to have to lift heavier weights than 315 if you want to raise that amount of reps you can do with the 315. So you might go to like 325. Now, 325, you might not be able to you might barely be able to get 1 rep. But if you have a spotter who could work you through like 3 reps, helping you a little bit and get you used to the heavier weight, when you do 315 now, it's going to feel lighter because you're so used to 325, even though you got a little help with it. And then you go to the next, you go to 350, let's say, and you do 1 rep. Maybe even your training partner has to help you with the 1 rep for 2 weeks in a row. But then by the 3rd week, you're able to actually do it 1 time. And now 330 feels really light and you're doing 4 reps with it because you can do 350 for 1. So that's how you work up. So I like I said, I don't think it's necessarily smart to say, you know what, my best is 350. I'm going to try 400 now for a rep. That's probably a recipe for tearing a muscle. But to get to the next level and to push your body, you have to get used to the weight. When the weight gets to a certain level, it's just a matter of getting used to that thing sitting on your hands or in the sense of a squat. You know, I remembered 600 was a very hard number for me to get past. It was a very intimidating mental number, and it was also it felt like a lot of weight on my back, and I had to actually walk out with that weight a few times and just feel it a little bit on my back and see how it felt, and visualize me doing the rep, having a training partner there actually helping me through 3 or 4 reps with the 600 pounds until actually I got comfortable enough because I knew I was strong enough. It was a mental thing. Once I felt like I can control the weight, I was able to do it. So yeah, it's important to push past those 1 rep max, with a training partner there who can, save you if you get stuck, because it helps you get to the next level.